Every day you protect many things in your life. You protect your phone with a password. You protect your money in a bank. You protect your house with doors and locks. But there is one thing more valuable than all of these things combined, and most people never protect it. Your brain. Your brain decides how you think, how you feel, how you react, and how you build your future. Every dream you want to achieve begins inside your mind. Every decision that changes your life starts with a thought. Every success or failure grows from the condition of your brain. Yet many people allow negative information, stress, distractions, and toxic environments to enter their minds every single day. They protect their phone screen more carefully than they protect their mental space. Think about that for a moment. If someone breaks your phone, you can buy a new one. If you lose money, you can earn it again. But if your brain becomes weak, confused, overwhelmed, and distracted, your entire life slowly begins to collapse. A strong brain creates a strong life. This is why protecting your brain is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. In this lesson, you will discover 8 powerful ways to protect your brain so you can think clearly, stay focused, build discipline, and create the life you truly want. These lessons are simple, but they are extremely powerful. If you practice them daily, your brain will become calmer, sharper, and stronger than ever before. Let's begin. 1. Protect your brain from negative information. Your brain is like a garden. Whatever you plant inside it will eventually grow. If you plant seeds of fear, anger, and negativity, those seeds will slowly grow into stress, doubt, and confusion. But if you plant seeds of wisdom, positivity, and purpose, your mind will grow into a place of clarity, strength, and peace. The mind does not stay empty for long. It constantly absorbs the thoughts, words, and information that surround it. This is why protecting your brain begins with protecting the kind of information you allow into your life every day. In the modern world, negative information is everywhere. News channels often focus on disasters, conflicts, and problems because fear attracts attention. Social media is filled with comparison, arguments, and dramatic stories that keep people emotionally involved. Even in normal conversations, many people spend their time complaining about life, criticizing others, or discussing problems they cannot control. Without realizing it, your brain begins to absorb all of this negativity like a sponge absorbing water. You may start your day feeling calm and hopeful, but after hours of negative content, your mind slowly becomes heavy and tired. The more negative information you consume, the more your brain starts to believe that the world is a dangerous, unfair, and hopeless place. Your motivation begins to drop because your mind constantly focuses on problems instead of possibilities. Your energy decreases because negative thoughts drain emotional strength. Slowly, even your confidence can disappear because your brain starts to expect failure rather than success. This process often happens quietly and gradually, which makes it even more dangerous. Many people do not realize that the information they consume daily is shaping the way they think, feel, and see the world. This is why protecting your brain requires conscious awareness. You must become very careful about what enters your mind. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Some discussions only spread frustration and negativity without offering solutions. Not every piece of news deserves your time, especially if it only creates fear without helping you take meaningful action. Not every opinion deserves space inside your brain, because many opinions are simply reflections of other people's fears, frustrations, and limitations. Protecting your brain means creating boundaries for your mental space. Just as you would not allow strangers to walk freely into your house and create chaos, you should not allow harmful information to freely enter your mind. Instead of constantly consuming negative content, begin filling your mind with ideas that strengthen your thinking and inspire growth. Read books that challenge your perspective and expand your understanding of life. Listen to meaningful conversations and lessons that encourage learning and self-improvement. Watch content that helps you grow emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Over time, these small changes begin to reshape the way your brain operates. The mind becomes calmer because it is no longer overwhelmed with unnecessary negativity. Your thinking becomes clearer because your attention is focused on ideas that help you grow. Your confidence increases because your brain begins to see possibilities instead of constant problems. The truth is simple but powerful. The brain slowly becomes what it repeatedly sees, hears, and experiences. If you feed your mind with powerful and positive ideas every day, your thinking will gradually transform. Your outlook on life will become stronger, more hopeful, and more solution-focused. And once your thinking begins to change, something incredible happens. Your life begins to change as well. Protecting your brain from negative information is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing the kind of mental environment that helps you grow, stay strong, and move forward in life with clarity and purpose. 2. Protect your brain from constant distraction. We are living in one of the most distracted periods in human history. Every day, thousands of things compete for our attention. Phones vibrate every few minutes, notifications appear constantly, and endless streams of videos, messages, and updates try to pull our focus in different directions. Social media platforms are designed to keep us scrolling, and many apps are built to capture as much of our attention as possible. Without realizing it, people often spend hours jumping from one piece of information to another. The mind becomes busy all the time, but it rarely gets the chance to concentrate deeply on one meaningful task. The problem is that the human brain was never designed to handle this level of continuous distraction. The brain works best when it focuses on one important task at a time. Every time your attention suddenly shifts from one activity to another, your brain must use extra energy to adjust. For example, when you are working on something important and suddenly check your phone, your brain must stop the first activity, process the new information, and then try to return to the original task again. This constant switching may seem small, but it slowly drains your mental energy. When distraction becomes a daily habit, your mind begins to feel tired more quickly. Tasks that require concentration start to feel difficult. Your thinking becomes slower and less organized. Over time, your ability to focus deeply becomes weaker because your brain becomes used to quick stimulation rather than sustained attention. This is why many people today struggle to read long books, complete complex tasks, or stay focused for long periods of time. Their brains have been trained to expect constant interruptions. Without deep focus, achieving meaningful goals becomes extremely difficult. Almost every important accomplishment in life requires sustained attention. Writing a book, building a business, mastering a skill, or learning something new all demand long periods of concentration. When your attention is constantly pulled in different directions, your progress becomes slow and scattered. You may feel busy throughout the day, but at the end of the day, you realize that very little meaningful work has actually been completed. Successful people understand something very important. Attention is one of the most valuable resources a human being possesses. They protect their attention carefully, just like someone protects a precious treasure. They know that wherever attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, results appear. If your attention is scattered across dozens of small distractions, your energy will also be scattered. But when your attention is directed toward meaningful goals, your life begins to move forward with purpose and clarity. Protecting your brain from constant distraction means becoming intentional about how you use your attention. It means reducing unnecessary interruptions whenever possible. One simple step is turning off notifications that do not truly matter. Many alerts and messages can wait until a specific time when you choose to check them. Creating quiet moments during your day is also extremely helpful. These quiet periods allow your brain to concentrate deeply without being constantly interrupted. Another powerful habit is learning to work for a period of time without checking your phone or switching tasks. At first, this may feel uncomfortable because your brain has become used to constant stimulation. Many people instinctively reach for their phones whenever there is a small moment of boredom or silence. However, if you practice staying focused on one task for longer periods, your brain slowly begins to adapt again. After some time, something powerful starts to happen. Your thinking becomes clearer and sharper. Your creativity begins to return because your mind finally has the space to explore ideas deeply. Your productivity also increases because you are able to complete tasks with greater concentration and fewer interruptions. Work that once took hours may begin to take far less time when your mind is fully focused. A focused brain is a powerful brain. When your attention becomes strong and disciplined, your mind becomes capable of producing better ideas, solving problems more effectively, and achieving goals more efficiently. In many ways, the quality of your life is closely connected to the quality of your attention. When you learn to protect your brain from constant distraction, you are not just improving your focus, you are creating the mental environment needed to build a powerful and meaningful life. 3. Protect your brain from toxic people. Not every person deserves access to your mind. In life, you will meet many different kinds of people. Some individuals bring encouragement, wisdom, kindness, and support into your life. They inspire you to grow, believe in yourself, and move forward with confidence. Their presence brings calmness and clarity to your thinking. However, there are also people who bring the opposite energy. They constantly criticize, complain, spread negativity, or create emotional chaos wherever they go. Being around such people for long periods can slowly affect the way your brain thinks and feels, even if you do not realize it at first. Human beings are deeply influenced by their environment, and the people you spend time with are one of the most powerful parts of that environment. Your brain naturally absorbs the attitudes, emotions, and beliefs of the people around you. If you regularly spend time with individuals who complain about everything, blame others for their problems, and focus only on what is wrong in life, your brain slowly begins to adopt the same mindset. Over time, your thinking may become more negative, more limited, and more doubtful. You might begin to see obstacles everywhere instead of opportunities. This process usually happens quietly. At first, you may believe that other people's negativity will not affect you. But the brain constantly listens, observes, and learns from repeated experiences. When you repeatedly hear discouraging words, complaints, and pessimistic ideas, those thoughts slowly become familiar to your mind. Eventually, they can become part of your own thinking patterns. Without noticing it, you may start speaking in the same negative way, or expecting negative outcomes in situations where hope and possibility once existed. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who are calm, disciplined, positive, and focused on growth, your brain begins to learn from that environment as well. These individuals often speak about solutions instead of problems. They discuss ideas, goals, and ways to improve themselves and the world around them. Their mindset encourages progress rather than limitation. When you spend time with such people, your thinking naturally begins to expand. You start believing that improvement is possible. You begin to imagine bigger goals for your future. You feel motivated to take action and push yourself forward. Your brain is always adapting to the environment around it. It observes behavior, absorbs emotions, and learns from the attitudes of others. This is why protecting your brain sometimes requires making difficult but important decisions about the people you allow into your life. It does not mean that you must hate anyone or create unnecessary conflict. In many situations, the healthiest choice is simply creating a little distance. You can remain respectful and kind while also protecting your mental space. Creating healthy boundaries is an important form of self-respect. It means understanding that your mental energy is valuable and should not be wasted on constant negativity or emotional drama. When you allow toxic influences to dominate your environment, your brain becomes exhausted and distracted. Your focus on personal growth becomes weaker because your attention is constantly pulled toward problems that do not truly belong to you. Choosing the right environment means choosing carefully who receives your time, attention, and emotional space. Spend more time with people who encourage learning, responsibility, and self-improvement. Seek conversations that inspire curiosity and thoughtful discussion. Surround yourself with individuals who challenge you to become better rather than pulling you back into negativity or doubt. The voices you hear most often eventually become the voice inside your own mind. The thoughts and attitudes that surround you shape the way you think about yourself and the world. When you protect your brain from toxic influences and choose positive environments, you give your mind the opportunity to grow stronger, clearer, and more focused. Over time, this positive mental environment can help you build confidence, develop wisdom, and move forward in life with greater purpose and inner peace. 4. Protect your brain with deep rest. A tired brain cannot think clearly. When your mind is exhausted, even simple tasks can feel difficult. You may struggle to concentrate, make decisions, or control your emotions. Many people push themselves to keep working even when their minds are clearly tired. They believe that success only comes from constant effort, and that resting means being lazy or unproductive. However, the truth is very different. The brain is not a machine that can run endlessly without stopping. Just like the body needs rest after physical activity, the brain also needs time to recover after long periods of thinking, learning, and problem-solving. When you constantly push yourself without allowing time for rest, your brain slowly becomes overwhelmed. Stress begins to build up inside your mind, and your body releases chemicals that increase tension and anxiety. As this pressure grows, your ability to focus begins to disappear. Thoughts become scattered, concentration becomes weaker, and emotions become more difficult to control. Small problems may suddenly feel much bigger than they really are, because your brain no longer has the energy to process situations calmly and clearly. Many people believe that working harder without stopping will automatically lead to better results. They stay awake late into the night, ignore signs of mental fatigue, and try to force their brains to continue functioning at full capacity. But in reality, this approach often creates the opposite effect. When the brain becomes too tired, productivity decreases and mistakes increase. Tasks that could normally be completed quickly may begin to take much longer because the mind is struggling to stay focused. Your brain needs recovery time in order to function at its best. During periods of deep rest, the brain performs many important processes that support your mental health and performance. It repairs itself from the stress of the day, organizes the information and memories you have experienced, and clears away mental fatigue that has built up over time. This natural process allows your brain to reset and prepare for the next day with renewed energy and clarity. Sleep plays one of the most important roles in this recovery process. Sleep is not wasted time. In fact, sleep can be seen as essential brain maintenance. While you are sleeping, your brain continues to work in ways that help protect your mental strength. It processes the experiences of the day, strengthens useful memories, and removes unnecessary information. This helps your mind stay organized and focused. Without proper sleep, even the smartest and most capable person will struggle to make good decisions or maintain emotional balance. Protecting your brain means respecting your need for recovery and allowing your mind to rest when it needs to. This begins with getting enough sleep every night. A consistent sleep schedule helps your brain recharge and maintain healthy mental functioning. When you wake up after proper rest, your thoughts feel clearer and your energy levels feel stronger. Your mind becomes more capable of handling challenges and solving problems. Rest is not only about sleeping at night. It is also important to create small moments of quiet during your day. When your brain is constantly working without pause, it can become overloaded. Taking short breaks allows your mind to relax and reset. Even a few minutes of silence, a short walk, or deep breathing can help reduce mental pressure and restore focus. When your brain receives the rest it truly needs, something powerful begins to happen. Your thinking becomes sharper and more organized. Your emotional reactions become calmer and more balanced. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by every challenge, you are able to approach situations with patience and clarity. A rested brain makes better decisions, and better decisions slowly shape the direction of your life. When you protect your brain through proper rest and recovery, you are not slowing down your progress. Instead, you are strengthening the most important tool you have for building a successful and meaningful life. 5. Protect your brain with learning. Your brain becomes stronger when it is challenged. Just as the muscles in your body grow stronger when they are exercised regularly, your brain grows stronger when it is used to learn, explore, and think deeply. The human brain is designed to adapt and develop through experience. When you challenge it with new ideas and knowledge, it builds new connections between brain cells. These connections improve your ability to understand, analyze, and solve problems. However, when the brain is not challenged for a long time, it can slowly become less flexible. Thinking may become repetitive, narrow, and limited because the mind is no longer exploring new possibilities. Many people stop actively learning after finishing school or college. Once they enter their daily routines of work and responsibilities, they may feel that their education is complete. But learning is not something that should end at a certain age or stage of life. In fact, lifelong learning is one of the most powerful ways to keep your brain healthy, active, and strong. When you stop learning, your brain gradually becomes comfortable with the same ideas and the same patterns of thinking. Over time, this comfort can lead to mental stagnation, where curiosity fades and creativity begins to decline. On the other hand, when you constantly expose your mind to new knowledge, perspectives, and experiences, your brain remains active and alert. Each new piece of information forces your brain to think, connect ideas, and form new pathways of understanding. Scientists often describe this process as the brain creating neural connections. The more connections your brain forms, the more flexible and capable your thinking becomes. This is one of the reasons why people who continue learning throughout their lives often remain mentally sharp and curious even as they grow older. Learning does not always require formal education or complicated systems. It can begin with simple daily habits. Reading regularly is one of the easiest and most effective ways to stimulate the brain. Books introduce new ideas, new stories, and new ways of understanding the world. Even reading for a short period each day can gradually expand your thinking and strengthen your ability to concentrate. Exploring different subjects can also be very helpful. You do not need to limit yourself to one type of knowledge. Learning about history, science, psychology, philosophy, or any topic that interests you can open new doors in your mind. Another powerful way to protect your brain is by learning skills that push you slightly outside your comfort zone. When you try something new, such as learning a language, practicing a creative skill, or studying a subject you have never explored before, your brain must work harder to adapt. This effort may feel challenging at first, but it is exactly what helps the brain grow stronger. These experiences encourage curiosity and prevent the mind from becoming too comfortable or passive. The goal of learning is not simply to collect large amounts of information. Many people memorize facts without truly understanding them, and this kind of learning rarely transforms the way a person thinks. The deeper goal of learning is to train your brain to think carefully, analyze situations, and form thoughtful conclusions. Learning should help you ask better questions, see problems from different perspectives, and develop the ability to think independently. People with strong and powerful minds are not necessarily those who claim to know everything. In reality, the strongest minds belong to people who remain curious and open to new knowledge throughout their lives. They understand that learning is a continuous journey rather than a destination. They remain humble enough to admit that there is always more to discover and more to understand. Your brain naturally loves growth and discovery. When you give it new challenges, it responds with increased clarity, creativity, and understanding. Over time, the habit of learning strengthens your confidence because you begin to trust your ability to adapt and grow. Protecting your brain through learning means feeding it with ideas that stimulate curiosity and encourage deeper thinking. When you keep your mind active and engaged, you are building a stronger foundation for wisdom, creativity, and lifelong mental strength. 6. Protect your brain with physical movement. Many people forget something very important about the human mind. Your brain and your body are deeply connected, and they constantly influence each other. The brain does not work separately from the body. Instead, it depends on the health and movement of the body to function properly. When your body becomes inactive for long periods of time, your brain can also begin to slow down. Your energy levels may drop, your focus may weaken, and your thinking may feel less sharp. This is why physical movement is not only important for your body, but also essential for protecting and strengthening your brain. In modern life, many people spend long hours sitting. They sit while working, studying, watching videos, or using their phones. Sometimes an entire day can pass with very little physical activity. While this lifestyle may feel normal, it can slowly reduce the brain's ability to stay energized and alert. When the body remains inactive for too long, blood circulation becomes slower, and the brain receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients. Over time, this can affect concentration, memory, and mental clarity. Physical movement plays a powerful role in keeping the brain healthy and active. When you move your body, your heart begins to pump blood more effectively throughout your entire system. This increased blood flow carries oxygen and important nutrients to the brain, helping it function more efficiently. As a result, the brain becomes more alert and capable of thinking clearly. Even small amounts of movement can have a noticeable impact on your mental energy. The good news is that protecting your brain through movement does not require extreme workouts or intense training. Many people believe that they must follow strict exercise routines or spend hours at the gym in order to benefit their health. While intense exercise can certainly be helpful, it is not necessary for maintaining a healthy brain. What your brain truly needs is regular and consistent movement throughout your day. Simple activities can make a meaningful difference. Walking is one of the easiest and most effective forms of movement. A short daily walk allows your body to stretch, your muscles to activate, and your blood circulation to improve. During a walk, many people also notice that their minds begin to feel calmer and more creative. Ideas that seemed difficult before may suddenly become clearer because the brain is receiving the oxygen and stimulation it needs. Stretching your body is another valuable way to support brain health. When muscles are stretched and relaxed, tension in the body decreases. This relaxation can also reduce mental stress, allowing your brain to feel lighter and more focused. Even a few minutes of stretching during a busy day can help refresh your mind and improve your concentration. Movement also has a powerful effect on emotional well-being. Physical activity can help reduce stress and anxiety because it encourages the release of natural chemicals in the brain that promote feelings of calmness and happiness. When stress levels decrease, the brain becomes better able to focus, solve problems, and make thoughtful decisions. Another interesting benefit of physical movement is the way it supports creativity. Many people experience their best ideas while walking, exercising, or performing simple physical activities. Movement gives the brain a chance to relax from intense concentration while still remaining active. This balance allows new ideas and insights to appear more naturally. When your body moves regularly, your mind becomes more awake and responsive. Your thinking feels clearer, your focus improves, and your energy becomes more stable throughout the day. You begin to notice that tasks feel easier because your brain is working more efficiently. A healthy body protects a healthy brain. When you take care of your physical health through regular movement, you are also strengthening your mental health and cognitive abilities. Protecting your brain does not always require complicated strategies. Sometimes the most powerful actions are the simplest ones: standing up, stretching your body, and allowing yourself to move regularly. These small habits can create a strong foundation for a sharper mind and a more balanced life. 7. Protect your brain from overthinking. Your brain is one of the most powerful tools you possess. It allows you to think, plan, imagine, and solve problems. Because of this incredible ability, the brain helps you navigate life and make important decisions. However, this same power can sometimes work against you. When thinking becomes excessive and uncontrolled, the brain can turn into your biggest enemy. Instead of helping you move forward, it can trap you in cycles of anxiety, doubt, and confusion. This is what many people experience when they fall into the habit of overthinking. Overthinking often begins with a simple question: A small concern appears in your mind, such as, what if something goes wrong? At first, this question may seem harmless because thinking about possible outcomes can sometimes help you prepare for challenges. But when the brain begins to repeat the same question again and again, it can quickly become overwhelming. The mind starts creating many imaginary problems that may never actually happen. You begin analyzing every possible situation, searching for perfect answers and trying to control every detail of the future. The difficulty is that life rarely provides perfect certainty. No matter how long you think about a situation, you cannot predict every outcome. When your brain continues to search for absolute certainty, it becomes stuck in endless mental loops. One thought leads to another, and then another, until your mind feels crowded with worries and doubts. Instead of finding clarity, you become more confused and emotionally drained. Overthinking consumes a large amount of mental energy. Your brain works continuously, trying to solve problems that may not even exist. As a result, your mind becomes tired and stressed. You may feel anxious about decisions that are actually simple, or you may delay taking action because you are waiting for the perfect answer. In many cases, the more you think, the more complicated everything appears. Protecting your brain means learning to recognize when thinking becomes unnecessary. Not every situation requires deep analysis or long hours of mental effort. Sometimes the best choice is simply to make a reasonable decision and move forward. Action often creates the clarity that overthinking cannot provide. When you take a step forward, you begin to see real results and real feedback from the world around you. This helps your brain adjust naturally and learn from experience. It is also helpful to remember that most of the problems created by overthinking exist only in the imagination. The human mind has a strong ability to imagine negative outcomes, especially when it feels uncertain or afraid. However, many of these imagined scenarios never become reality. By recognizing this pattern, you can begin to challenge your own thoughts and avoid getting trapped in unnecessary worry. Learning to calm your mind is an important skill for protecting your brain. Simple habits such as pausing for a moment, taking slow breaths, or stepping away from a stressful situation can help your thoughts settle down. When your mind becomes quieter, you can often see things more clearly and make better decisions. There is a simple truth that many people eventually discover: thinking too much about life can prevent you from actually living it. When your brain is constantly analyzing every possibility, it becomes difficult to enjoy the present moment or take meaningful action. A calm brain is far more effective than a stressed and overloaded one. When your mind is peaceful, your thoughts become clearer, your decisions become wiser, and your confidence grows stronger. By learning to pause, breathe, and simplify your thoughts, you protect your brain from unnecessary stress. Over time, this habit allows your mind to become more balanced and focused. Instead of being controlled by endless thoughts, you begin to guide your thinking with awareness and purpose. Your brain, in return, will reward you with greater clarity, calmness, and strength. 8. Protect your brain with purpose. The strongest and most focused brains often belong to people who live with a clear sense of purpose. Purpose gives direction to your thoughts, actions, and decisions. When you know why you wake up every day, your brain gains a powerful sense of direction. Instead of moving randomly from one activity to another, your mind begins to organize its energy towards something meaningful. Purpose acts like a guiding compass that helps your brain understand what truly matters in your life. Without purpose, the mind can easily become lost in distractions. When a person does not have a clear reason for their efforts, it becomes difficult to stay motivated or focused. The brain may jump from one interest to another, searching for excitement or temporary satisfaction. This often leads to feelings of boredom, confusion, and even emptiness. Many people experience this situation when they feel busy all day but still feel like their actions have no deeper meaning or direction. However, when your life has a sense of meaning, your brain begins to work differently. Purpose creates focus because your mind understands that your time and energy are valuable. Instead of wasting attention on unimportant distractions, your brain naturally begins to prioritize activities that move you closer to your goals. You start making decisions more carefully because you know that each decision shapes your future. Purpose also strengthens discipline. When you know why you are working towards something, it becomes easier to stay committed during difficult moments. Challenges and obstacles become part of the journey rather than reasons to quit. Your brain becomes more resilient because it understands that the effort you are making has a meaningful direction. Finding purpose does not always require a complicated or dramatic life plan. Often, it begins by asking yourself a few simple but powerful questions. For example, you might ask, "What kind of life do I truly want to build?" This question encourages your brain to imagine the future you hope to create. You may also ask, "What kind of person do I want to become?" This helps you think about the values and qualities you want to develop in yourself. Another meaningful question is, "What kind of contribution do I want to make in the world?" This question invites you to think beyond personal success and consider how your actions might positively influence others. Your answers to these questions do not need to be perfect. Purpose does not require a flawless plan. Instead, it simply provides a direction that guides your choices and actions. Even a small sense of direction can help your brain organize its energy more effectively. Over time, as you learn more about yourself and your experiences, your sense of purpose can grow stronger and clearer. When your brain works toward meaningful goals, it becomes more disciplined, focused, and determined. You begin to develop mental strength because your efforts are connected to something important. Difficult moments feel more manageable because your mind remembers the reason behind your actions. Purpose transforms effort into motivation and challenges into opportunities for growth. Purpose also protects your brain from feelings of emptiness. When your life has meaning, your mind is less likely to fall into cycles of boredom or confusion. Instead, it remains engaged with goals that inspire progress and improvement. A mind guided by purpose is more capable of overcoming obstacles because it understands that every challenge is part of a larger journey. In the end, protecting your brain with purpose means giving your mind a clear reason to move forward. When your thoughts, energy, and actions are guided by meaningful direction, your brain becomes stronger, more focused, and more resilient. And a brain that lives with purpose can overcome almost any challenge life places in its path. Conclusion: guard your mind like your life depends on it. Your brain is the control center of your entire life. Every idea begins there. Every decision is formed there. Every dream takes root and grows there. It is the engine that drives your actions, your choices, and your future. How you treat your brain directly influences the quality of your life. If you take care of it, your thinking becomes sharper, your emotions become more balanced, and your potential expands. But if you allow negativity, constant distractions, stress, and confusion to dominate your mind, your potential slowly fades, and your life can feel scattered, heavy, and unfulfilled. This is why protecting your brain is not optional. It is essential. Remember the 8 powerful ways to safeguard your mind, protect it from negative information, reduce constant distraction, distance yourself from toxic people, give it deep rest, feed it with learning, support it with physical movement, prevent overthinking, and guide it with a strong sense of purpose. Each of these steps works together to strengthen your mental resilience, focus, and clarity. These strategies are not just ideas. They are habits that can transform the way you think and live every single day. On my channel, English Achieve, we focus on sharing insights like these to help you develop a stronger, sharper, and more disciplined mind. By following these techniques consistently, you can gradually reshape your thinking patterns, improve your decision-making, and build the life you truly want to live. Your brain is not just an organ inside your head. It is the engine of your destiny. Guard it carefully. Strengthen it daily. Feed it with knowledge, rest, and purpose. When you learn to protect your mind, you unlock something extraordinary. A strong brain does not just help you survive life. It empowers you to design your life intentionally, to think clearly under pressure, and to achieve your dreams with confidence and focus. The life you want begins in your mind, and the first step is always protecting it.